Hello and welcome to Eco Girl in a Modern World. My name is Shelley and my channel is dedicated to talking about ways to be more environmentally friendly in a modern context. Today I decided to go ahead and do kind of a follow-up video. I know like 2 posts ago I had done a spring fashion trends video, and to be honest, I was feeling a little salty in that video, and I just, thinking back on it, I didn't really give you a whole lot of new trends, so to speak. And I know they're kind of fun videos for me to do because I like to talk about environment, like eco ways of following fashion trends. So I'm going to go ahead and do a part 2 to that video, and just I'm coming to the table with some actual trends that you can do in an environmentally friendly way. Now, of course, every single time I talk about fashion-forward videos, I always talk about buying secondhand or shopping your closet. Like, really look at what you have in your closet first. That's always the best way to be environmentally friendly. I kind of have 5 eco rules when it comes to fashion. Always try to wear what you have. There's something called a 30 wears rule, where you really want to use it up, wear it out, and don't buy anything that you don't expect to use or wear. It is especially nice to buy secondhand, because when you buy secondhand, you are giving a garment a second, third, maybe even 5th life. And also I like to encourage that you try to look for natural fabrics, especially if you're going to buy new. If you're going to buy new, I encourage that you buy natural fibers like cotton, linen, silk, hemp, and wool. And we're going to be talking a lot about that in this episode. If you do need to buy polyester, I really encourage that you buy that secondhand. Polyester and acrylic is a really bad one. Acrylic and polyester takes a really long time to biodegrade, probably about 700 years, and it's the kind of the cheaper fabric. Now, granted, you can find high quality polyester, but most polyester made today is fast fashion, and it's very cheaply made, and it's not the highest quality, and it's made from petroleum, which is oil, like gas, and it doesn't really biodegrade. So if you're going to buy polyester, I encourage that you buy that secondhand. Same thing with any man-made materials, plastic, PVC, buy it secondhand. So anytime you see me doing that, anytime you see an example of something that has synthetic fabrics, most of the time it's because it's something that I thrifted or got off eBay. Now, in the vein of secondhand, I always encourage secondhand, especially now, because if you buy something off a secondhand retailer, whether that's Mercari, ThredUp, eBay, I really like eBay just because it's been in the business a long time, and the tools to use are very good. And you'll also have a lot of sellers who are old-time sellers, like even before Amazon, came around. But especially nowadays, if people are selling their wares, and especially if you look at the shop, if you look at the seller and see that they're selling items that look like household items, you really could be helping someone by giving them income and buying secondhand at the same time. So I think buying secondhand is really, really important right now. I would also, you do want to be wary. There are a lot of like retailers, like drop shipping companies that use eBay, but you can kind of tell looking at someone's shop whether or not they're one of those companies or a private person. I highly encourage always looking at the reviews and buying from a person, and because of course that always helps us out. I sell things that I'm no longer wearing or using, and when somebody pays money for something online, the likelihood of it actually being used is much better. I noticed that if you're willing to pay money for something, the likelihood that you're just going to wear it once and throw it away is not as great. If something retains its value, buying it secondhand, and we'll see examples of that in this video. The other thing that I wanted to encourage with this video is shop small. I know there's a lot of there's a lot of decisions about where your buying dollar is going, and your buying dollar is powerful. If you decide that, okay, I do not want to buy things from Target, I don't want to buy things from Amazon, and I'm wearing earrings that I bought from Amazon. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but it's one of those things where if you I've been trying to be very conscious to buy from smaller stores. Yesterday I went to a small business bookseller and actually purchased a book from someone that I had met, the author I know. And so basically, when you're watching this video, if you do need to buy something new, try to buy from the retailers that you wish to support. I do also put my buying dollar when it comes to bookstores. Like, I like to support Barnes & Noble. I like to support Books A Million. And the reason that I want to do that is because I want to see them stay in business. And that is very hard for brick and mortar now. When I talk about these earrings, there's kind of a story behind that. It's like, okay, do you actually know who you're buying from? And if you really want to support a business, whether that's a bigger business like Barnes & Noble or a small mom and pop, small business owned bookstore, if you put your buying dollar towards it, you're helping them thrive. So I always like to think about it as, anytime I see a store, if I always, like recently in the news, and not to be gloom and doom, but Joann Fabrics is going out of business, and I'm just ready to cry. I'm like, oh my goodness, I do not want to, I'm dreading the moment, and I know that moment's coming, that I'm going to drive by their building and see all their signage taken down. It's going to be a vacant building, and it's just going to feel very surreal. And I've been kind of asking myself, okay, what if I looked at that, and I know this sounds kind of morbid, but if I looked at the storefront and it was empty, if that thought punches me in the gut, then that's the business to which I want to give my buying dollar to help them thrive. I remember, like, if you watch history, in 1929, when the stock market crashed, the president at the time was really encouraging people to not run on banks. He said, please leave your money in the bank. Don't go to the bank and say, here, pull out all of my money. And when it comes to uncertain times like that, and another example is, if you've ever, we just came out of Christmas, so if you've ever seen the movie It's a Wonderful Life, it's kind of the same premise. You see that everybody, is panicking and trying to put their money out. It's kind of the same thing with retail. You can see some kind of scary stock market up and down, but again, if the best way that you can support businesses is to keep your money in place, or to put the money where you want it to go. And it's funny, I watch a lot of card readings, and they always talk about, when you give money, it's like an energy exchange. So, and I know sometimes when you're feeling frugal, or, a lot of us are budgeting. When we talk through this video, I'm budgeting too. I'm not making it snow, making it rain. I'm not doing that. But it's like, where you do spend money, if you give it to the companies, I always feel like it kind of comes back. It's kind of circular. When I support people with my money, it puts a good positive circle of energy out into the universe. And so that's, when we talk about these trends, that's where you kind of want to do what you want to do. If you definitely, I always feel like somebody's wardrobe, or when it comes to fashion trends, I'm not saying don't spend any money, because you do want to support retailers, and there's a few examples here that I bought something new. But the other thing is, kind of make it an equal mix. Don't just be filling up your, buying a whole, haul of new clothes and throwing out what you have, because that's where it gets wasteful. If you have a nice mix of thrifted items, and then items that you already own, and then new items, and the ones that you really, really want, that's what keeps you green. And that kind of plays into critical thinking too. And I'm gonna share with you with a few of these things. When you're deciding to buy something new, there's a great creator here named Christina Mikas, and I'm sorry if I'm saying her last name wrong, but she has a list. She had gone minimalist for a couple years, and now she even says it. She's like, I'm not technically minimalist anymore because I have too many clothes, but the principles of minimalist living can really be a hybrid. It can kind of be a balance. It's not saying that you have to have a capsule wardrobe, but one of her rules, one of the great rules that she always says is, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And so as I go through some of these trends, you're going to ask yourself, critical thinking is looking at something and saying, okay, why isn't this a hell yes? Why isn't this an instant, oh, I've got to have it? And sometimes it's a balance between willpower, but sometimes it's also other factors, like what I'm talking about. Like, I don't buy acrylic new. I don't buy I don't buy acrylic at all. If I buy polyester, it's secondhand. And if I buy something new, I really like it to be an organic fabric. The other thing you can kind of keep in mind is, okay, is this a color that would look bad on me? Is it something itchy? Is it, there's different factors, and that kind of plays into your critical thinking. But so as we go through, we'll jump right in. I'm sorry, late start. But yesterday was International Women's Day, and I actually attended a conference in the western part of my state. Like, I drove like a good hour to go to this conference, and it was a wonderful day. It was so exciting. There were lots of beautiful presenters, and they were so inspirational in what they had to say. And actually, I wanted to give mad props because we had to get there kind of early in the morning. The conference started at 9, which I know is not the latest, but I was even a little sleepy, getting up early and driving out there. And right next to me, there was a father, a parent, and his wife was one of the speakers, and he had his teenage daughter there with him, and she was sleepy, she was tired, and she was like falling asleep on his shoulder. And I just thought that was the sweetest thing. And I almost kind of would love, I love to scrapbook, so I love photojournalism. And, I so wish that, I had permission to get a picture of it because it was so cute. And then the wife, the presenter, came over, and she kissed her daughter on the forehead, and it was just so wonderful. And I'm so grateful for the husbands and the spouses and, and the men, the fathers and the grandfathers who help support women and support women's rights. But the mom had a beautiful striped dress, and that was one of the trends that we talked about in the last video. She had a beautiful striped dress on, and that's been super popular. You're going to see vertical stripes, horizontal stripes. I'm seeing a lot. I've been out and about and out in the wild. I've been seeing a lot of the Britain stripes, which is that Chanel kind of seafaring, horizontal stripe. So I think that's really popular. Now, yesterday I dressed up a little bit, a lot. I wore red. And this is another thing that I kind of wanted to talk about. In the last video, I know I was talking about my country's colors. And when I think about it, I was thinking about this. Red, white, and blue make up the colors of a lot of flags. Like, the flag for France is red, white, and blue. For just about every country you can think of, it's a variation of red, white, and blue. And what I was thinking is it was an eco outfit of the day yesterday. I wore some red Gloria Vanderbilt jeans, and it was the jeans that I had gotten secondhand on my beach trip. If you watched my beach video, I was so excited to get a chance to wear those again, and they were super comfortable. But they were red pants, which is kind of different to wear red pants. It was funny. I felt very daring. And then I rewore my cotton print t-shirt from my birthday outfit from a couple years ago. It was like the it was Queen of Swords, it was Queen of Spades, and but she's a very sweet looking queen. I mean, look from a distance, she might even look like the Queen of Hearts. And then I wore a leather jacket that I had bought secondhand, and oh, it's so nice. I call it my Scully jacket, like X-Files Scully, because it goes, it's more nipped in at the waist, and it goes to mid-thigh, so it's more of a longer jacket. And I got it secondhand for $30, and it's so soft. The leather is like butter. And so I felt very trendy. But what happened was, I felt it felt controversial to be wearing red with everything that's been going on, and I kept thinking about it. Why do I feel controversial? Why do I feel like I'm being bold wearing red? And with all the politics going on, it, you know, I was thinking, okay, I kind of need to take the color red back. Red means a lot of different things, and as I was walking around this conference, there were beautiful women wearing their ethnic dress. I saw some beautiful outfits, and everything we talk about on this channel is about that. You know, when you dress based on what, you know, the themes that you like, what means something to you. And I even mentioned it in the last fashion video. What you wear sends a message, right? And the message could be, you know, it can reflect what your spiritual beliefs are. It can reflect your country's, the pride in your country's colors. It can reflect your mood. And here, when I was wearing red, I just kept thinking, okay, what's so controversial about red? You know, it's the color of blood. It's the color of life. It's the color of luck in a lot of, you know, cultures, and it's a color of courage. I went, you know, one of the times a long time ago, I went to the makeup counter, and I actually had red lipstick picked out for me, and I wear cool colors, so it was a blue based red, and it was a Yves Saint Laurent, and I used that lipstick up. But it's like a Taylor Swift red lip, and I always get compliments on it, and it's like 40s movie screen siren when you wear red. So it's a very bold color, and I was proud to wear it. But the other thing that they always say, and this is statistically proven, is when a woman wears red, like there was a survey done, and this was a scientific survey. Men feel that women look more attractive, they look younger, they look healthier, they look more like physically attractive when you wear red. And that kind of makes sense. You know, there's songs like, you know, like Krista Berg's the Lady in Red, and you know, and you know how I think it just kind of boosts you up a little bit when you wear that color, whether that's lipstick, whether that's, you know, red shirt. So I just think, you know, it shouldn't be about it shouldn't represent a political leaning. Red belongs to everyone, and it's a very bold color. It's also a very spring color right now. You know, around Valentine's Day, everybody was kind of getting into the cherry red or cherries theme. Now it's becoming more of a strawberry red, and you're seeing that a lot. I'm seeing a lot of the strawberry themes. So, you know, I think a couple years ago we had Strawberry Girl Summer. I think we're really going to have Strawberry Girl Spring, and that's going to be more the pinky reds and the peachy reds. And I don't buy lipsticks very often, but my counter lady, I trust her implicitly, and this is Clarins, and it's called a lip oil. Lip oils have been very popular. I see it all over the place, and so it's more of a bright kind of pink, and I don't really have one of those. I'm just gonna see what the number is. Sorry, it's always so tiny. It just says lip oil balm number 2. So lip oil balm number 2, and this is, it's a very bright pink color. You can see it. I think this is going to be very popular, and here you go. That's a pretty color. See, almost kind of like a strawberry red. I also think later we're going to talk a little bit about wearing eyelet lace dresses, like kind of some, spring dresses. And, you don't necessarily have to buy something with a strawberry on it. But, you could wear white or green. And then, you could wear a gingham. I sell a lot of red gingham. And, you can put white with that. And then maybe a spring green kind of sweater. That would definitely, play into the strawberry girl kind of theme we got going. Now, one other thing that I'm kind of seeing is playing into the red is I'm seeing, I predict, and this has been kind of percolating, I predict wearing red sneakers. Just because sneakers have been very popular. There's a few different brands, and we're really going to talk about this in a minute. There's been a few couple brands of sneakers that have really been on the forefront. Everybody's been getting these colors, especially Adidas Sambas, in different colors. And there's a few different brands. I mean, not just Sambas, but there's been a few different brands, and buying sneakers and colors. Now, I'm not a big shoe person. The shoes that I have, I really wear. But I think I kind of predict that if you're, people have been kind of looking for new and different colors in sneakers, I really think that red is going to be a color, a power color, especially for sneakers, and especially maybe like red suede or two-tone red. Burgundy, as we come out of winter, has been real big. But the other reason that I kind of think red sneakers are going to be on the forefront is because they are kind of like a strawberry girl spring. But the other thing is it's kind of ruby slipperish, and a lot of fashion is influenced by media. And even though we have to, the movie Wicked came out last year, and we just came out of the Oscars, and Ariana Grande was wearing like this beautiful red dress, and she had on a pair of ruby slippers, and that she's hinting at what the second half, the Wicked Part 2 is going to bring. And we have to wait until May of 2026 before you see that volume of the movie, but that ruby slippers are going to come into that. So there's a little foreshadowing there, and how fashion trends are. If you're influenced by it and that's something that expresses your style, and you buy into it now. If you need new sneakers and you want colored sneakers and you think red, there's also different stories that talk about red or ruby slippers, ballet slippers and so forth. So that's something that you can think about. And again, if you are going to buy something new, do it with the intention of wearing it 30 times. And there are some more natural brands of shoes as well. There's a brand called Karuma's. Those are a little bit more eco. I know anytime you buy something new, it's like, it's going to be a question as to, whether or not you're really going to wear it. That's the biggest deal. Now, in the vein of colors, just to talk about other colors, blues have been very big, very pastel blues, and more cobalt blues, which again kind of plays into the political atmosphere. And it's funny, several videos ago, I think even last year, before last year, I talked about how I was really gravitated to magenta, which is kind of like a purple color. And I had a feeling that it was going to mean something later on. And it's so funny when you think about it, red and blue together makes kind of that purple magenta color. And I've noticed in the political sphere, when people wear that kind of purple, it's almost like a sign of being bipartisan. And I never realized that. And that little light bulb went off. So I think my Rice Krispies were probably telling me something. But I have several, you've probably seen in other videos, I have a beautiful cashmere silk blend V-neck sweater that I wear to death, especially when the weather is kind of cooler and in between seasons, and it keeps me wonderfully warm. And I just think that's another color that you can really wear. Another thing that you've probably seen are the pastels, of course, pastel green, pastel blue, pastel, just about all the greens, spring greens, dark greens, and pastel yellow, like butter yellow. But baby pink, and I'm actually wearing baby pink today. I actually went and I pulled this this out of storage because this is more of a summer sweater, but it's starting to get a little bit warm. And I have seen this out in the wild. In addition to the Britain sweaters, I am seeing everybody wear baby pink. I'm seeing a lot of baby pink, so I think that is going to be on the forefront. And it was so sweet. Yesterday, before I left the International Women's Day, the person who was who hosted gave everybody a rose, and I just thought that was so pretty because that's also very pastel pink. And it's today, I'm just influenced. I'm inspired, really. I had a perfume that I've been meaning to use that's a rose perfume, so I got to wear my rose today. So I smell good, I feel good, I feel pretty. So baby pink I've definitely seen out in the wild. That's a big one. Now, the other thing that I'm kind of seeing that's, to kind of bridge into the red ruby slippers and talking about Adidas Sambas, so red and kind of the red spectrum of, magenta, pink, baby pink, maroon, you'll still see a lot of maroon, but you're going to see one of the big trends on the forefront was athleisure, but more elevated kind of like hybrid of athleisure. And one rule that I like to talk about a lot is, there's a rule that I kind of adhere to a lot that's called the 2-2 rule, which is if you're going to wear something that's more vintage, like for instance, I love 80s. I love 80s and 90s kind of themes, but the problem is just like with any decade or any theme, if I dress head to toe 90s or head to toe 80s, it's going to look like I'm wearing a Halloween costume. So what I like to do is the 2-2 rule is where if you wear two pieces that are 80s, but you balance it out with two pieces that are either from a different theme or a different, a different decade, or just something to kind of balance it out where it's not all one kind of old school kind of aesthetic. And I'm kind of seeing that with athleisure a lot. Athleisure really came into the rise when, during the pandemic, or, you always see it kind of in springtime because everyone's going to the gym and stuff like that. But here, athleisure, you're really seeing it become a hybrid of more comfort dressing, but kind of a hybrid where it's not just you wearing sweatpants, right? It's not just you wearing your Lululemon leggings and then, going out in public. And so this kind of elevated athleisure I'm really seeing everywhere. And this really got me thinking, because, of course, you're seeing the Adidas Sambas. Those have been popular for a couple years now. Also, you've seen different brands of shoes as well, because Nikes. I wear Nike running shoes. Those are the ones that I walk a lot. So I wear Nike, and I have a lot of Nike sweatshirts and stuff like that. Now, but, Adidas, the Sambas have really come back into popularity as well recently. And what I think that is I really do think that's a resurgence of 70s fashion, and we're going to talk 70s fashion again, but you kind of have to understand where the origination of Sambas came. Sambas in the late 70s, early 80s were really the athletic brand, that people wore. A lot of the, I think, especially back then, it would have been the brand that you saw making the jerseys for the Olympics. Now she is Caitlyn Jenner, but back when she was Bruce Jenner, he wore a lot of Adidas. And what it is that you can kind of see it, but the Adidas Sambas, having a nice, just like today, having a nice pair of sneakers was a sign of having a come up, having a glow up. If you had a cool pair of kicks on, you were up and coming. And you do see that in a lot of street style in the late 70s and early 80s. So it's funny, we kind of associate the Samba with the off-duty model look now, but really back in the day, its origins were from, it being a maker of jerseys for the Olympics, and, it being the ideal sports kind of theme. The other thing that you'll see a lot is that Adidas really had its come up. It bridged over into from kind of streetwear to the origins of hip hop and particularly breakdancing. And also, you know, if you see pictures of Run DMC, they really brought Adidas into the forefront. And one thing with Adidas, it's, you know, you see the 3 stripes on the Sambas, but, you know, the Adidas being the stripe on the arm of the sleeves of the jackets, also on the track pants. So, you know, and you're seeing that on the runways a lot right now is windbreakers over dresses. Again, that's kind of like that 2-2 rule. You know, you've got this flowy kind of spring dress, but then you've got a windbreaker over it. Well, you know, sports pants and jackets usually come in pairs like that. So you see that a lot with the Adidas. The other thing is that there's other sports brands. It's like, you know, when I think about it, you know, growing up in the 90s, I saw Champion sweatshirts were really, really big. And so there were really a lot of different athletic brands. And what this trend got me thinking is, okay, which one is the best one? Which one is the most popular one now? Because there's a lot of them. And it's funny, I found this great listing of it, of the ranking of how popular these brands are right now. And it's interesting because I'm sure the rankings change all the time because it's kind of based on what's in popularity now. And it's interesting, you know, a couple years ago, Selena Gomez did a collaboration with Puma, and I thought she looked fantastic. The pictures were just like, dang, she looks sexy, you know, she looks so pretty. And Puma's another big one too. The other one is, you know, you're seeing nowadays, you know, Rihanna wears a lot of Champion. So Champion's kind of having a resurgence. And again, I'll be talking in a minute. There's a lot of 90s, you know, throwback. And then there's also a collaboration with Fila going on. So, you know, a lot of these, you know, Nike's always been at the top. And, you know, when you kind of run down the list, I mean, you can kind of think about a bunch of different, you know, shoe brands or, you know, athleisure, and you can kind of, so what I'm going to ask is, you know, what is your favorite and why? I kind of lean towards Champion. I wear a lot of Nike because Nike is my sneaker of choice, but Champion was huge in the 90s. So you can kind of rank it based on, you know, okay, what does it mean to you? Is it because you grew up with it? And it's so funny nowadays, again, you know, we don't have the traditional trend cycle that we normally do. It's like everyone takes to the internet. And it's funny, I was trying to find a picture of kids in the 70s wearing Adidas Sambas, and I couldn't find a single one. So it really is like a digital dark age. It's like, you know, whatever they want to sell to you, you'll see online, not what was historically accurate or how it came in to be popular. But, you know, that's something to keep in mind. But one thing the one way that I'm kind of playing into this is that I had seen, and this was very popular in the 90s, is that the Adidas, since it's so popular and it's elevated athleisure, Adidas had a dress, and it was a very long kind of bodycon, kind of a straight dress, and that was hugely popular in the 90s, especially with the one with the stripes. Now it's funny, I was in Nordstrom like last year, and they had one of those dresses, but it had the stripe down the side, like down the side of your body. And first off, it was new, and it had a pretty high polyester content. The other thing is that the dress was too long. I like a good long dress, but I hate it. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt in order for me to hem something. And if you're going to spend that much money on something new, it'd be nice for you to just be able to buy and wear. So that was my critical thinking in not buying the one that I saw in the store. But it was funny, I went on eBay, and again, this might be the thrift gods sending me, delivering what I was wishing for. But I saw a dress that was very similar. It didn't have the stripes all the way down the side of the body, but it had the stripes down the arms. And I'm looking at the measurements, and the measurements perfectly, the dress goes completely to my ankles. And I'll post pictures of it when I wear it. It's starting to warm up where I live, so next week I'm going to be wearing this. But I think that is a perfect, it fits in with, it checks all of my boxes. It's almost 100% cotton. It's bought secondhand. It looks beautiful. It's the perfect length. And it's kind of that mix of athleisure. You know, it's not typical gym clothes. It's the skirt, and you definitely saw it in the 90s. You saw that in the 90s so much. The other thing that I liked is that I do think those jogger pants with the stripes down the sides are very popular. And guess what I found? It was in the guys section. I always encourage go to the guys section, but I was at Goodwill, and these are straight Adidas. They're joggers, and they've got they're joggers where they come in at the ankles. And guys, it's a men's large, but it's on me. It's like a women's medium. Again, there's different. This looks so great. So I got that for $9.99, and all it was is, and it, of course, it does have nylon in it, but it's, you know, it's bought secondhand, and I washed it real good. It smells good. But so I'm kind of playing into both sides, and I bought it both secondhand. Now, when I wear the dress, there was one thing that I kind of wanted to see. It's like, it's an Adidas dress, but I'm debating what sneakers to wear with it. Because, of course, you probably would wear, again, going with the 2-2 rule, it's like, okay, do I wear, I don't own any Adidas sneakers, but I do own a pair of Vans that are kind of slip-ons, and they're black and white, and I think those will look really cute with it, kind of like either that, or I do have a pair of high top yellow Converse. And you please tell me what you think. If you think if I'm wearing an Adidas dress, if you think wearing a different brand of shoe is blasphemous, go ahead and put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. But I'm probably going to wear it with the slip-on shoes from Vans, because I don't think you'll really notice too much. But and it might be a nice juxtaposition, right? It might be kind of adding a little bit of spice to the outfit. One other thing that I wanted to talk about like dressing up that kind of outfit, because again, when you're talking about athleisure, it's sporty, but you're doing kind of your 2-2 rule where it's sporty, but you're making it kind of feminine. Now that plays into the kind of the earrings. The earrings that I'm wearing right now are kind of those paperclip shape. It's kind of like the oblong shape earrings. And I know please tell me this is another thing, if I know I'm 2000 and late with this. These have been around for a long time, but this is the first time that I've gotten into this trend. I'd seen it, and I was like, okay, would that look good on me? Because sometimes round hoops kind of, I have wide cheeks, and sometimes round hoops just kind of make my face. It's about shape and silhouette, even with earrings. But these are very flattering, and I think these would look great with that dress. The other thing is, these I did get off of Amazon, and I don't like shopping off Amazon a whole lot. I've been really looking for smaller places to buy it from. I was really looking for sterling silver, because sterling silver, if you get it this big, it would be pretty expensive. I found sterling silver in a smaller variety, but it was just too small. It wasn't what I wanted. I wanted a little bit more like this. And these are stainless steel, and I got it off Amazon. And I know, please tell me, I don't know who started this trend. It was probably just a celebrity wearing it, but honestly, I feel like this is fairly recent. In the last 5 years, this style of earring has really been up and coming. You also see the paperclip kind of necklace, and these are stainless steel, and I did buy it from Amazon. Now, the only problem I have with Amazon is that they're a monopoly, they're a conglomerate. I feel they really chase off smaller businesses. It's an unhealthy competition with other small businesses, and that's why I try not to buy from them. Also, I feel like they're using their money and to control politics. But the other reason that I'm a little mad at Amazon is because they're really they're manipulating their sellers. They're forcing their sellers to really either pay more fees in order for their products to be seen. Like it's like the news feed. It's kind of like you have to pay more in order for your product to even be seen by the consumer. But the other thing is, these earrings it was called Alex Made. It was made by Alex. And it's funny, it came beautifully packaged. It's a very high quality earring. I like it. It's stainless steel. And, because when you think about it, we're all saving our pennies. If you got a sterling silver earring in this size, it would probably put you back a couple $100. The smaller ones I saw were $50 for the sterling silver set. These were like under $10 in their sterling silver or their stainless steel, and they're very quality made. But the thing what upset me was it was so beautifully packaged, and it came with this little note card that gave this story about how Alex, the person who made this, was a single father. He was raising his daughter. He became unemployed, and he started making jewelry, and then his jewelry company grew to be this multi-million-dollar successful business. And I'm reading this, and just like a lot of things nowadays, I had no idea if any of that story was true. It's funny, if there's a documentary that talks about Brandy Melville. It's called Brandy Hellville. Sorry, and it's funny when they talk about it. It was this gigantic store. They had 1 million stores. They were the most popular brand, and they talk about the story behind Brandy Melville. Brandy Melville was not a real person. It was a story concocted to appeal to, because this generation, actually all generations, but more importantly, millennials and Gen Z, they like it when they feel like they're supporting somebody, or when there's a story behind it. And what's crazy is a lot of times there is no story behind it. It's just marketing, and it's like sales. It's like, okay, how do we make you believe that you're supporting something like a small business that does so well? Now, and I hate to knock it because these are very high quality. One of the, looking at the feedback ratings for some of the other pairs, sometimes when you have these kind of lock earrings, the mechanism can be bad, like it won't lock well, and it'll start to break. And the last thing you need is to spend $200 for an earring that's just going to fall out somewhere and get lost. This locks very well, and again, it was under $10, very well made. It has like 5-star reviews. So I'm not saying don't give them your buying dollar, if you're going to wear it and it's beautiful. I just really wonder how much nowadays everything is synthetic. Everything is like AI generated, or maybe it is a marketing team somewhere that's a bunch of corporate people sitting around a round table going, okay, what kind of story could we make up to make this jewelry line sound different than the millions of jewelry lines that are just drop shipping from other countries and being mass produced? So that was a question, but sorry, not to go off on a tangent, but I'm new to the paperclip. I'm 2000 and late to the paperclip earring trend, but I really like these. I think these would look so freaking cute with the striped dress. And it is kind of like it's a twist. A lot of again, we talked about the origins in hip hop dressing. A lot of times that kind of dress would be, maybe worn with some square hoops, like the door knocker earrings. You've probably seen that. And we're kind of seeing a resurgence of 90. If you want to do the most, you can have your name put on it or something like that. And it's not knocking the trends. It's just that's how it is. The other thing that I think would also be a good way to accessorize that is if you did really big solitaire earrings, like cubic zirconia, or if you can afford it, diamonds. But the shape of the stone really plays into it. I know back in the 90s, having a really, really big pair of solitaire, cubic zirconia or diamond looking earrings, like literally big enough that you can see it from space, was the trend. And I like to wear that kind of dress. Like, I kind of look at the silhouette. If it's more of a column dress, I like to wear more square, or I like to wear square earrings. And one shape of earrings that I have a pair of that I've had for years, decades really, is Asscher Cut earrings. and it's big. They're really big. I have a pair of big ones. And Asscher Cut is almost like steps. It's so funny, you know, in the early aughts, in the 2010s, everybody was about the cushion cut. I think the reason why, and if I'm quoting this correctly, is because I think Britney Spears, I think her first engagement ring was cushion cut or something, and then after that, everybody was just all about the cushion cut. But Asscher Cut is more of a square. It's more of it's a very Art Deco 1920s kind of diamond shape, and I think that would look fantastic. And again, playing into the kind of juxtaposition, it's a little bit 90s. It's still in that 90s kind of hip hop theme, but it's very tasteful, and it's kind of got a little bit, it gives you that little bit of complementary to what you're wearing, but still playing into the theme. So I think that would be really good, and that's a way to kind of do a 2-2 rule with athleisure. The other thing is to kind of bridge, you can also talk about like tote bags. I feel like one of the trends that we're really going to see is tote bags. The reason being is because, again, I think all of us are going to be a little bit more frugal with the way that we're doing things. So I don't see the next 2 years as being, I mean, granted, designer bags are always in, but I think a lot of people are not going to be flaunting their wealth with a lot of designer bags. Again, a lot of the stealth wealth, the reason why it's stealth is because you don't want to wear a whole lot of logos. You don't want to parade around, you know, how much money you have. So one way that you can kind of do that, and also in the theme of like thrifting, I always love to bring my own bag, right? And a lot of times I like to bring a bag that is a tote bag, something that's just very easy. That way, if I purchase something, or if I run into the grocery store, or a lot of times I'm, you know, donating things, I can just throw it in my bag and it's easy to go. And instead of it being a fancy dancy purse, right? And today, you know, you see I'm wearing a lot of pastels, but today you've seen this bag before, but I brought my little tote bag that says the coffee. It's a card theme, and this just looked incredibly adorable with my whole ensemble. I have my pale blue low water jeans on, so this went so well. Also, tote bags, you know, if you want to make your own, that was a very 2010s thing. One other bag that I got that I was very proud of, and I got this secondhand off eBay, but this is kind of, again, it's man-made materials, but it's bought secondhand. It's several years old. I've never been to Harrods, but this is just a fabulous tote. And what I like is that it's got a zipper pocket inside, so, you know, if I got to put my keys, that's the one thing with tote bags. Sometimes it's hard to get to things, but it's like that it's a highlighter green kind of color, and then it's got the bright pink. And I just feel this is so cute, and it was not expensive, and I just think it was bought secondhand and really, really adorable. The last tote bag that I'm going to talk about, and this is me, you know, being mindful of what I'm spending, you know, because if I'm going to buy something, I really got to use it. But a while back, there was a Kate Spade newspaper clutch. It looked like a folded up newspaper, but it was a purse, and it was so stinking cute. And it was on sale at the Kate Spade outlet for like $325. And to throw in my critical thinking, the reason that I didn't just jump and buy it was a couple reasons. First off, I always like to think of how much space I have. You know, a lot of times I have a lot of purses. It's like, okay, am I really going to use this? And I have quite a few clutches, you know, so sometimes with clutches I get nervous because I have put a clutch down and then forgotten about it, you know, so I want to be careful. The other thing is, when you're looking at newspaper print, you also want to look at what the newspaper print says, right? You know, because it's funny, you wouldn't think about that at first, but that's important, right? Because, you know, it's what it's saying is what you're going to be carrying around, and people are going to read that. You're going to read that, right? And it was good. It was positive. It said it was something like the Brooklyn News, and one of the stories was talking about like getting a cocktail after work or something like that. And then the rest of it was talking about fashion, which isn't the worst, but it wasn't really my scene though. You know, it's like the things that was printed on it wasn't really quite my thing. But I did think it was an adorable bag, and I was like, oh, that's really, really cute. I really like that. But again, you know, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And I hesitated, and it was partially because of the price, because $300 is a lot, and partially because, you know, again, if you're going to spend that much money, are you going to use it? Are you going to wear it? Or is this just a, impulse buy? Well, they sold out of it, and now you are seeing that purse sell for like twice as much. You got people on eBay, and again, on eBay trying to gouge. This is not, this is not a little shop that's just trying to sell their stuff at a fair price. This is someone who scooped up all of this supply and is trying to, price gouge to make a profit. So that for that reason, granted, if I kind of like to scrutinize that too. If it looks like someone who bought a purse and really needs to sell it, if they're doing it at a semi-fair price, right? Like there was a pretty patchwork Coach bag that sold originally for like $325. If someone's selling it for $425 or something like that, that markup is a little steep, but it's not the worst. They're just you're capitalizing a little bit off the value, but you're not terribly gouging. When somebody is asking double, and for that little clutch that was selling for like $325, they're asking for like $700. No, you're not getting that from me. It's cute, but there's a reason why I hesitated and didn't, impulse buy it in the first place, and you're certainly not going to get my money for doubling the price. Now, one other Kate Spade that came out, and I didn't see it when it first came out. I might have bought it at that point, but it's called Coffee Break, and it's a little coin purse, and it looks like one of those coffee cups that you get in downtown New York, and it has the little latte top. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's stinking adorable. And I'm a coffee drinker, so I was like, oh my gosh, that's so darn cute. And it's kind of a spacious kind of coin purse, but when you zip it open, it is fairly big. That's the other thing, is that space is at a premium. I gotta know where I'm gonna put this thing, and especially if it's like a 3D purse. And that's another thing that a lot of people don't think about. When something's kind of kitschy like that, it's gonna be pretty big, and you're gonna have to allot a lot of space. It's not gonna be like a regular purse where you can kind of collapse it and store it with the rest of your stuff. So but that one it's like a coin purse. The other side of it is that kind of plays into the bag charm trend. And when it first came out, I think it was like $50 or $60, which again, for a coin purse, I know these cute little tote bag things, they could go for a lot more, but they have really, the manufacturers, the fashion trend powers that be are really cashing out on the bag trend charm thing. And but $60 was a lot. They sold out. Same thing happened. They sold out, and now all of a sudden I'm seeing that same little coin purse, which is like about this big, this by this, for $150. Seriously, what are you smoking? Because and a few places $175. And yes, it's adorable, but I'm not paying that much for a coin purse. That's just not practical. And again, it probably would have been a hell yes when I first saw it, but it would have been hard to store. I don't want to crush it or crunch it, and $60 for something that's kind of novelty is expensive too. So in comes kind of the answer to my little visual, and I'm a Libra girl. I like pretty stuff, but I got my tax return. A good chunk of it is going to responsible things. I'm paying off stuff. I did also have the fan in my car break. It's the heater fan. So I just re-upped on antifreeze for my AC for the summer, and all of a sudden my heater stopped working on the coldest week of winter, and it's gonna set me back $500. And I'm gonna go ahead and bite the bullet and do it because I have to, and my car is worth it. He's my noble steed. He's an old man, but he works good. So hopefully I'll be out of the woods with it, but got to put that towards, got to hashtag adulting. But after that, I did see an advertisement that popped up on my social media, as it does, that said it was a newspaper tote by Betsey Johnson. And it's $88, which is not cheap, but it is a good size tote. And I did go ahead and splurge. And that was my treat. That was my, you were a good girl. You paid your taxes. You didn't get as much back this year. And I actually really like it. It's a good size. And it says Betsey Johnson Times. And I like it because it says maximalism takes over the city. And it's cute. It says, if I could choose to have one superpower, I would want to be able to make everyone love everyone. And then it says good news, horoscopes, weather, fashion, word puzzles. And I love at the bottom, it says hard times always lead to something great. And it's so cute. It looks like a newspaper and it's a big size. And honestly, I think that would look really cute with my Adidas dress. And guess what also came with it, guys? It came with a little coin purse that looks like a cat, and it says, caution, fiercely hot. And on the back it says, and it's cute because it's got like a little snap handle. And so this can come off, and it's flat. It's flat, and it's a good size, and I can put anything in there. I can put cash, I can put coins, I could put change, I could put receipts. It's got the little lipstick on it. And oh, I thought this was so cute. And again, for $88, it's like I got the 2-in-1. And so I did. This was a hell yes for me. And again, I'm an eco girl, but I know that I'm going to use that. And again, I thought about how I would store it. The flat thing is kind of like everything I wanted, so I did. I like to buy new things, and so I thought that was a good investment. And honestly, it's a tote bag, and I'm telling you, again, when I'm out and about and I'm carrying stuff, that really works. Now, one other thing in the thing of bags, and again, I think tote bags are going to be kind of a thing. Messenger bags were also like a late 90s, early aughts kind of thing. And I did see Adidas, again, going back to this athleisure, Adidas had kind of a messenger bag thing, and that would have been really popular too. So again, I think these are some of the trends that you're going to see. Now, the next thing is going to kind of bridge off the 70s theme. Again, I'm seeing a lot of 70s fashion. And this is something that I'm seeing in storefronts. Like I saw it in the window at J. Crew, of all places. But one thing that I'm kind of noticing is A-line denim skirts. And again, this is kind of like that 70s fashion, and a lot in the 70s, in the late 70s, you saw a lot of kind of turtlenecks or mock necks worn with A-line midi skirts, like the skirts that go just below the knee or mid-calf, and they're narrow at the waist and they kind of have the A-line. I'm just seeing a lot of that, like a lot of that kind of influence. I like to, again, if you go to the internet, you're not going to find a whole lot of matches, but I always like looking at TV shows. I feel like if you watch a TV show from that era, that's where you are going to get the style inspiration. So like if you wanted to watch a 70s TV show, I would probably say Three's Company. And I know that sounds crazy, but you see a lot of that kind of athleisure in it too. You see a lot of the knee-high socks. I'm seeing a lot of that. Also, you see a lot of the boho, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But you do see the knee-high, the midi jean skirts. And what I'm kind of seeing, and especially in all of the rooms, is I'm seeing the type of flare that has kind of areas, has strips to it. So it's not just, two pieces of fabric sewn together. It's kind of got like a flare kind of, seams to it. And so I'm seeing that, and I actually found on eBay, and this is very easy to find on eBay, so that this whole trend with it, if you decide to do a denim skirt, finding it on eBay is very easy. But I do have denim skirts, but they're more like they're very voluminous, or they're more pencil shaped. This one is kind of like a mid-range one. It's kind of like a middle range one, and I saw a really cute one that has buttons down the middle. And again, you could wear it with some with your, if you have a pair of brown knee-high boots, that would look super cute. The other thing is, I don't know if those kind of 70s shorts will come back. I did actually see someone wear a pair of shorts with the Adidas stripes down the side. The shorter shorts that have the piping on it might be a thing that comes back. One other thing that I am going to see, and actually that's a perfect bridge, the other thing that's kind of 70s is BoHo 2.0. We talked about that last video. That's going to be super huge, and especially for summer. And it does look kind of Woodstocky. It is very 70s inspired. If you're looking at the Threes Company, you're going to see a lot of tube tops. And, I feel like the kind of short shorts was a little bit of the hot pants that we kind of saw last year. But again, if you wanted to take an athleisure kind of stint on it, it would be short athleisure. But BoHo 2.0 is going to be big for that. I think this summer you're going to see a lot of flowy, like particularly cotton with kind of the square and pinafore kind of shapes, the more V-neck kind of shapes. I just think, again, it's going to be kind of like crossover of Woodstock and going to Coachella. But I think a lot of those denim A-line skirts would go with that, but a lot of cotton, very gossamer kind of tops. The other thing that I'm seeing is a lot of eyelet lace, especially, like white, kind of the spring dresses that you can wear denim over. So eyelet lace could also, I know a couple years ago, I think it was last year, I talked about like kind of having eyelet bloomers, like a pair of kind of shorts. And Lonnie Ozark really talks about this. She has a pair, but you're going to kind of see that too, kind of like a hybrid for the boho chic. But that is going to be really big. In a bridge to BoHo 2.0, CowboyCore. And I know we're not seeing that like really on the forefront, but I do still think that is really percolating. I think particularly with that eyelet lace, because that is kind of a country thing. The eyelet lace can also be paired with the Strawberry Girl Spring that we talked about in the beginning. Wearing it with red or gingham or something like that would look really lovely. But I also think that, and this is my prediction, is that if we're going to go country, I really think big belt buckles. I'm seeing a lot of big belt buckles. And I saw this at Anthropology. They had a big oval one that was kind of like a hammered brass. But it's funny, that's when you look at it, and it is media influence too. If you were really into the TV show Yellowstone, or there's a lot more kind of, Texas kind of themed kind of media kind of going. But one of the other shows that when you think about it, when you look at a big belt buckle, it's meant to be a attention grabber, and it brings attention to your waist and to your kind of midsection. And what I always think of is, if you ever watched the early aughts TV show Bones, Booth, who worked with Temperance, he had a belt buckle that was huge, and it said cocky. It had a rooster on it, and he explained it really well. She goes, "Why do you wear that belt?" And he's like, "Because it makes me look manly. It brings attention to that area of the body." And I really think that belt buckles are a statement piece of accessory. Now, what I've been leaning towards is more of the floral ones. I did see one that had my initial on it. I was a little on the fence. I was like, okay, that might be a little bit too statement for me. But otherwise, I think the tulle ones, like if it's a bigger piece buckle, but then has a tooled leather with like floral inlay, I think that would be very pretty. And I'm just thinking, if you wear that with jeans and like a black button down, again, going with your 2-2 rule, you don't want to look like you're fresh from the rodeo, but you can kind of pair Western elements. And I think that is going to be very, very stylish, especially as we go into summer. Now, also to touch on that, barrel leg jeans, that's a big statement piece because, again, it's about silhouette, it's about shape. I tried on, just to experiment, I tried on a pair that had and you can kind of tell if a barrel leg is really exaggerated, you'll see a seam. It almost looks like a dart on it that helps give the round shape. I've noticed that when I try on the barrel legs that have the dart, it's too exaggerated. It kind of looks too rounded. But I did find a pair of by the same company that made my other pair of jeans, and it's a low water jean, and it's made by Land's End. They have a barrel jean, but it's not very exaggerated. It's very subdued, and they are so comfortable, guys. Like I have worn those jeans a lot, and I think if come spring, summer, I could wear that with the big belt buckle, or I could wear that with that flowy kind of gossamer top. Kind of like really gauzy layered top. I think that would look very pretty. And again, it's not so strong on the Western elements, but you're still playing it up, like flowy tops, and also a lot of embroidery. Embroidery is really beautiful. Real peasant tops with embroidery details. I think that's going to be very, boho. Last thing that we're going to talk about is to talk a little bit about 80s dressing. And this is a prediction that I have. So this is just on my bingo card. But I really think that with all that's going on in the world, I really like the idea of showing what you believe in with a button or a pin. And I know that back in the 80s, there was it's now kind of a controversial brand called Benetton, but Benetton was all the rage. They were really big into color blocking and very unique dressing. And one thing that they always did is they always had kind of fun headwear, like either the blossom kind of, pork pie hat or a beret, and they would put pins, like buttons, on it. One other thing that I saw, and I actually saw this, I saw someone walking, and they look so cute. She had on like a duster coat, like one of the long kind of coats, and on her lapel she had a bunch of buttons. And a couple years back you saw people put buttons all over their backpacks or on their bags, and I talked about that, putting brooches on your denim purse. But I like this idea, and I actually got some vintage buttons online that talk about the ERA. Also, one other influencer that I saw talked about this, and she said putting ribbons like first place, or like little ribbons that look like first place ribbons. I think that's a cute idea if it's like a small one. The other thing, and this is also kind of playing into Wicked or the Wizard of Oz theme, is that in the 80s there were a lot of like kind of bar pins that had like drops with hearts on it. And so if you wanted like the Cowardly Lion, if you wanted to do a bar pin that maybe had a circle that said courage, or I did see a few drop heart that had hearts, or something that's kind of like a bar pin that has a drop on it. That has something dangling off it. I think that's well, first off, it's very 80s, but I also think that's a statement piece, and I think that looks so cool. And you can absolutely put that on a lapel of a duster coat. You could put it on, you could just put it on any coat on the side, or if you put it on a hat or something like that. I think that would be very fashion forward, and that's something that I think would be kind of cool, something kind of different to bring into the new season. Well, all right, guys, so this was kind of a longer video, but I hope this makes up for my vagueness in the last one. Again, I think all of these trends can be done using existing pieces. If you need to buy something new, look at the quality content, see, if it's something cotton or ramie, like R-A-M-I-E, I think that would be very comfortable for spring. And, definitely buy with the intent of mixing and matching. And we've talked a lot about this. You can mix and match. And I think that would look gorgeous. You know, please, as the questions we mentioned, you know, if you have an answer, you know, please post it in the description box. And if you're new here, thank you for joining me. If you like the content that you see here, I would be very honored if you'd like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.